aspects, but at some point in time, when Rex Ryan is coming back saying the same thing that had you slide in the draft to begin with, unnamed narratives, unnamed.
Yeah.
So when you say if I know it, everybody in the league knows it.
Yeah.
You're lying, Rex Ryan. The pictures are right there. When you this trope, and we'll finish on this. This trope that you're lazy and you don't want to do stuff has been a trope on quarterbacks of color for years.
That is correct, yes.
The entire football world was thrown into chaos after a heated moment on national television between Shedeur Sanders and Rex Ryan sent every social media platform into overdrive. It was supposed to be just another studio segment, another round of routine analysis, familiar arguments, and predictable takes. Instead, viewers witnessed one of the most intense face-to-face exchanges of the season. What made it wild wasn't just the energy, but the fact that Shedeur walked straight into the studio after a game week filled with controversy, online debates, and nonstop discussion about his readiness, his reps, and the way the Browns have been managing him.
To pick with Rex Ryan after what he said about Shedeur Sanders. He is in no position to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Okay, Rex Ryan has now had multiple chances to be successful in the NFL, and he blew it. He should have been in the film room longer. He is the laughingstock. Okay, when he was with the New York Jets, his entire career was marked by the butt fumble. And then he comes with the Bills. He comes in, says he's going to win the Super Bowl, tries to get the entire city behind him, and he absolutely flopped on his face. Rex Ryan, you are a clown. Shedeur Sanders is a better man than you, so don't ever talk about him again. Keep Shedeur Sanders' name out of your mouth, Rex Ryan.
So when Rex Ryan leaned into his usual tough love commentary saying Shedeur hasn't proven anything yet, Shedeur didn't sit back quietly. He fired right back on live television, and fans across the country couldn't believe what they were seeing. The moment happened fast. Rex delivered his critique like he always does, loud, animated, dramatic, leaning into the camera with the confidence of a coach who's been around the league for decades. He questioned Shedeur's preparedness, hinted at flaws in his footwork, and doubled down on claims that Shedeur wasn't ready for the pressure of an NFL starting job. Instead of brushing it off or waiting his turn, Shedeur instantly responded, challenging the narrative and calling out what he described as outdated evaluations that ignore modern quarterback development.
Stefanski is one of an outstanding coach, all right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever. Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
See if they make a change there.
The studio went silent. Hosts froze. Social media exploded within seconds. What made the exchange even more shocking was Shedeur's tone, calm, controlled, but sharp enough to cut through the entire set. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't losing composure. He simply confronted the narrative head on, saying that analysts like Rex judge quarterbacks based on systems that no longer exist. Fans watching live said it was one of the boldest moments they'd ever seen from a young NFL quarterback, especially one still fighting for consistent opportunities under a coaching staff many believe has underutilized him. The clip instantly went viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments, analysts weighing in, former players reacting. Every corner of the internet had something to say. Many fans rallied behind Shedeur, praising him for defending his work ethic, his preparation, and his place in the league. Others backed Rex, applauding the old school approach and arguing that Shedeur needs tougher criticism, not praise. But no matter which side people chose, everyone agreed on one thing. This confrontation changed the conversation surrounding Shedeur Sanders immediately. This wasn't the moment of a young quarterback folding under pressure. It was the moment of a young quarterback demanding to be judged on reality, not assumptions. And for the first time, the world saw him step directly into the fire and refuse to back down. That single exchange may have done more to shape his public perception than any game he's played this season. The aftermath of the confrontation spread like wildfire across sports media, turning the usual Monday debate cycle into a full-blown storyline, overshadowing half the league's news. Within hours, major analysts were dissecting every frame of the argument, every facial expression, and every underlying message behind Shedeur's words. What stood out was how differently this situation landed compared to typical rookie versus analyst disagreements. Instead of being treated like a rookie out of line, Shedeur was being talked about like a player holding his ground with maturity, confidence, and undeniable understanding of the modern game. The narrative around Shedeur has already been shaped heavily by the criticism surrounding his practice reps, his usage, and the Browns' unpredictable quarterback strategy. Fans have been vocal for weeks, blaming coaching decisions for limiting Shedeur's development and throwing him into difficult game situations without proper preparation. That context made the confrontation with Rex Ryan feel less like an isolated clip and more like a public breaking point for a quarterback tired of outdated criticism and incomplete narratives. Rex Ryan, known for pushing players with tough commentary, wasn't expecting a direct rebuttal. That's what shocked viewers. Shedeur didn't back down, didn't defer, and didn't act intimidated. He challenged Rex's assumptions with logic, data, and firsthand experience. He called out the pressure of being inserted into systems mid-season, the importance of chemistry with receivers, and the reality that NFL quarterbacks today rely on timing-based offenses that require cohesion, not just arm strength or toughness. This wasn't a rant, it was a public statement, and it resonated deeply with younger audiences, players, and even a few coaches who anonymously commented online, saying they respected the way Shedeur handled himself. He didn't attack Rex personally. He attacked the outdated evaluation methods many analysts still cling to, even as the NFL continues evolving into a quarterback-driven league built on precision and adaptability. Meanwhile, supporters of Rex Ryan argue he was simply doing his job, holding quarterbacks accountable and making sure they earn every ounce of respect in the league. And even though the moment became heated, many appreciated that Rex didn't walk back his comments afterward. Instead, he doubled down, saying the exchange proves Shedeur has fire but still needs to show it consistently on the field.
This difference in generational perspective is exactly why the clip became a cultural moment rather than just another football argument. It symbolizes the clash between old-school coaching philosophies and the new era of quarterback play. One side demands toughness through adversity, the other demands evaluation through development. And Shedeur, standing right in the middle, became the voice of a new generation pushing back against narratives that no longer reflect how the league actually works. As the debate escalated, former players and current stars jumped into the conversation, turning Shedeur's confrontation with Rex into a league-wide discussion about how young quarterbacks should be treated in the media. Some veterans applauded Shedeur for defending himself, saying that analysts sometimes push narratives without acknowledging the internal dynamics players navigate behind the scenes. Several quarterbacks, past and present, posted subtle comments online hinting at shared experiences. They've all felt the pressure of being judged too early, judged too harshly, or judged without context. And Shedeur's willingness to call that out in real time resonated strongly. He didn't point fingers at teammates, coaches, or personnel decisions. He focused strictly on outdated criticism and the impact it has on shaping public opinion. That nuanced approach is part of why fans called the moment controlled fire, direct, powerful, but never reckless. On the flip side, some corners of the media world weren't as kind. Certain commentators argued that Shedeur's response showed immaturity or a thin skin, claiming quarterbacks should ignore outside noise rather than confront it, but even those criticisms backfired when fans pointed out that Shedeur was only addressing the narrative because the narrative keeps shaping his career in ways he can't control. When reps, opportunities, and expectations are all tied to public perception, defending yourself becomes part of the job.
Inside the Browns community, the confrontation ignited a fresh wave of support for Shedeur. Fans saw it as another example of how badly he wants to compete, how committed he is to earning respect, and how frustrated he is with being sidelined or misused in key moments. Many believe this moment could apply pressure on the coaching staff, forcing them to reassess their development approach and communication strategies. Rex Ryan himself seemed taken aback by the intensity and intelligence behind Shedeur's response. Even though he didn't budge from his position, his tone shifted after the confrontation. He acknowledged Shedeur's passion and noted that quarterbacks with that level of competitive fire often exceed expectations long-term. It was an indirect sign of respect, something not easily earned from a coach known for his blunt honesty. But the most fascinating outcome of the moment wasn't the debate, it was the shift in how people perceived Shedeur Sanders.
He went from being a developing quarterback overshadowed by controversy to a confident leader capable of articulating the realities of his situation better than anyone else. Fans saw him not as a rookie fighting for validation, but as a professional refusing to let analysts control the narrative. The confrontation didn't weaken his reputation, it strengthened it. And that was the turning point that transformed a heated TV argument into one of the defining moments of Shedeur's young NFL career. Behind the scenes, league insiders began circulating reports that the confrontation may have deeper implications for both Shedeur and the Browns. Several analysts suggested that Shedeur's comments hinted at internal frustrations, specifically the lack of consistent first-team reps, the unpredictable quarterback rotation, and the pressure placed on him to perform as if he had full preparation when he didn't. His remarks weren't just a clapback at criticism, they were a coded message about what's happening inside the organization. For months, debates surrounding Shedeur's usage have dominated Cleveland sports media. Fans pointed out that coaching decisions often seemed contradictory, protecting him from high-pressure situations one week, then thrusting him into impossible scenarios the next. That inconsistency fueled skepticism about whether the coaching staff truly believed in his potential or simply viewed him as a developmental project. So when Shedeur responded to Rex Ryan with clarity, specificity, and unfiltered honesty, it felt like the first time someone close to the situation publicly addressed the elephant in the room. The system around him is flawed, and the expectations placed on him don't align with the opportunities he's been given. The confrontation also sparked a broader conversation about how analysts evaluate quarterbacks who enter the league with heavy expectations tied to their last names. Shedeur isn't just a rookie, he's the son of a football legend, carrying both the benefits and burdens of a recognizable legacy. That spotlight generates narratives, critiques, and comparisons that often go beyond on-field performance. Many fans argued that Shedeur wasn't pushing back at Rex Ryan's opinion. He was pushing back at years of unfair scrutiny that had nothing to do with his actual game film. Meanwhile, former coaches began weighing in, saying Shedeur's response showed leadership qualities teams look for in franchise quarterbacks. Standing up for himself publicly takes confidence, but doing it without insulting teammates or exposing locker room details takes discipline. His composure reflected a maturity many didn't expect from someone so early in their career. Rex Ryan's comments after the fact added even more intrigue. While he maintained his original criticism, he also noted that Shedeur's fire reminded him of quarterbacks who eventually proved every critic wrong. That subtle shift revealed something important. Shedeur's willingness to confront the narrative didn't alienate Rex. It earned respect. Around the league, the moment became symbolic of a generational shift. Analysts saw it as the new era of quarterbacks refusing to passively accept narratives built by old-school media voices. Younger fans viewed it as a sign of authenticity, honesty, and emotional intelligence. And rival players took notice, recognizing Shedeur as someone unafraid to speak up, even in the most high-pressure environments. By the end of the week, what started as a heated exchange had transformed into a defining chapter in Shedeur Sanders' NFL journey. The confrontation with Rex Ryan wasn't a moment of immaturity or impulsive frustration, it was a declaration of identity. Shedeur proved he wasn't just another young quarterback trying to survive in the league. He showed he was ready to confront criticism, challenge outdated thinking, and control his own narrative, instead of letting analysts shape it for him. The reaction from fans solidified that shift. Countless supporters praised him for standing tall, refusing to shrink under pressure, and speaking with clarity about the realities of his situation. Even critics acknowledged that Shedeur's response forced more thoughtful conversations about how quarterbacks are developed, evaluated, and treated, especially when organizational decisions aren't always aligned with their long-term success. Inside Cleveland, the pressure on the coaching staff intensified. Fans demanded answers about rep distribution, game planning, and Shedeur's overall development path. The moment forced decision-makers to confront the possibility that their approach might be hindering, not helping, one of their most talented young players. And with national attention focused on the situation, ignoring those concerns is no longer an option. For Shedeur, the confrontation could end up becoming a turning point. Standing up to Rex Ryan didn't just win him respect, it proved he has the mentality needed to handle the chaos that comes with being a modern NFL quarterback. Today's game requires leadership on and off the field.
quarterbacks must navigate media narratives, fan expectations, organizational politics, and constant scrutiny. Shedeur showed he's capable of carrying that weight without folding or lashing out uncontrollably. Rex Ryan, to his credit, didn't escalate the situation. The mutual respect formed afterward created a narrative few expected, two strong personalities realizing they share the same competitive fire even if they express it differently. Fans even speculated that the moment could lead to further discussions, maybe even a second interview that clears the air publicly. Whether that happens or not, the confrontation already created one of the most talked about media moments of the season. In the end, the exchange wasn't about ego, it wasn't about disrespect, it was about a young quarterback demanding to be seen accurately, evaluated fairly, and understood beyond outdated metrics. Shedeur reminded the world that authenticity matters, and sometimes the most important battles aren't fought on the field but in the conversations that shape how players are viewed. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the moment that shook the NFL media world, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more breakdowns, analysis, and stories from across the league.